10 ways to do beaded edge, all using the same basic technique. Our last two techniques build off of the one bead loop. I'm going to show you how I added the fringe to these earrings to create the tiers. So same thing, we're going to go through our felt, and then we're going to do 2 beads to get started. We're going to use a 1 bead loop as our base for this. So go ahead and do at least 5 or 6 1 bead loops to give us our base to work with. Once we've created a sufficient base, we're going to do our fringe. So I'm going to grab a bunch of beads on my needle, and then I'm just going to count them. I'm going to start with 10, because that's kind of a nice little mini fringe length to do, and take off the excess beads. Now again, this is just like making fringe earrings, but this time we are using a base that is attached to a flat beadwork piece. So you're going to take the stopper bead, push it down, and then take your needle and go through up all these beads, and then carefully go through the bead at the base near the felt. It's important not to go through the felt because it's going to make it difficult for you to pull the thread tight. So you can see here I went through it a little bit, and just correct and make sure that you are just going through the bead. Then pull it tight and you'll have your first little fringe done. You can also grab that stopper bead, hold it, pull your thread to make sure you've got your thread pulled nice and tight and it's not extra drooping or has any gaps. Now to do our next fringe, we're going to go down through the next base bead and add on some more fringe. So for this, I'm going to do a alternating lengths. So I'm going to put on 15 for this next one. And here is our second fringe, all ready to go. And then again, we're going to go carefully up through that base bead. This technique is super easy, and it's a great way to add some flourish to your beadwork to make it extra stunning. And here's what our nice little fringe looks like. Next technique is how I do the eyelashes on these same earrings using bugle beads. So same thing, get a base ready and get at least 6 beads on there. And then you're going to grab 1 bugle bead and 1 seed bead. Drop them down to the base row, and then we're going to use our seed bead as a stopper again, and we're only going to put our needle up through the bugle bead and then our base bead. Make sure to pull your thread nice and tight to make sure that the bugle stands up and isn't flopping or falling over. Now you could work just like our fringe and go up through the next bead if you want to create a very dense bugle edge. For these earrings, I like to skip a bead. So what I'm going to do is then go up this bead and then down the next bead. So I am skipping 1 bead over. And now I'm going to go through our felt or our base and come back up through that bead. This will make it extra secure, but it's totally optional. You could also just skip across. Now one more time, we're going to grab a bugle and a seed bead, put them down to the base, and then go through our bugle bead. Pull it nice and snug, and then we'll go on to our next one. So for this one, I'm just going to skip to the next bead. This is still plenty secure, but if you want to have that extra security, you can do it like we did the last time. And ta-da! Here is our bugle edge. This technique, you can get really creative and use it in so many different ways. So here you are. Here are the 10 techniques we practiced, all using the exact same looping method, just